All right, peeps. So my last Acer video did pretty well on YouTube, so thought this time it's time for an upgrade. So the old Acer is still there, but yeah, it's getting old, and I wanted more resolution and frame rate. So now this is a pretty big monitor. It's on sale, and why not make a video about this? So yeah, and it is freaking hot right now because I didn't turn on the AC and I live in Arizona, so it's very hot. But I thought, since I got all this hardware, why not make a video on frame gen? And yeah, since I have a few hours here, I could use the 5070 Ti and make a good video on my PC build there. It's a new PC that I built. So I've already unboxed this, but there's nothing special in here, just some boxes, a lot of fancy stuff, no toys or anything. But yeah, 5070 Ti. Let's put that aside, but right now I'm gonna unbox this, and then yeah, we can I can do a little bit of analysis on how the M28U, which is probably one of the cheapest 4K 144 hertz monitor out there, and it looks pretty decent. It's 28 inches, that's 28. So this monitor, this Dell, should be 27 inches, so a little bit bigger. But yeah, I think if I were to phase out, it would be probably the Acer, sadly to say. I know it's a great monitor, but might be time to go. It's a little bit small and the refresh rate sucks. So without further talking, let's get this unboxing started. All right. So it looks like there's some tape here. And I'm probably not gonna edit this footage very much. But obviously for testing the 5070 Ti, I will have logged data and stuff. But yeah. Whew. All right, this box is big. Running out of space in my room here. Okay, so the monitor itself is actually not that wide. It's 28 inches. Manuals, probably don't need that. A power cable, will need that. What the hell? Is this another power cable? Why is there two power cables? Okay. So I guess you get two power cables. A bunch of HDMI. It looks like a display port as well. Yeah, cool. Oh, what the? Another one? Oh, I see. It's different connectors for each of the countries. So that's probably, I don't know, that's probably Japan. This is US. And this is like Europe, Hong Kong. Or no, this is China. Yeah, this is a Chinese connector. Very nice. That gives you all the different countries, but I am in the US. So, yeah. All right, first look at the monitor. Cool. Let me get a tripod and put this phone on it. It's kind of hard to hold it. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have all my camera gear with me, and I found out that my tripod was missing the big screw that goes on the mount, so I'm going to do this one-handed. All right, there's the monitor. GIGABYTE is the brand. So there's the monitor. I think what I'm gonna do is cut from this scene and jump straight to when I connect power. So yeah, there's some interesting design here. I don't know how this works. Probably should read the manual, but yeah, let's just read the manual. Let's not break something. Here's the manual. All right, nice and easy. Pictures. I'm just recording this on my phone, by the way. If the quality is a little bit subpar. Yeah, so it looks like I need to latch this plate. Oh, so this goes on the back of the monitor. I thought this was the base mount. This rectangular piece is on the back of the monitor, and this side connects to the base. Okay, all right, let's do that. Okay, super easy. You just see those two pins line up. In. There it is. And then I guess we connect this piece right here. Get all the protective film off, so it doesn't interfere with the installation. Super satisfying noise. And I guess this just literally mounts on there. Wow, that looks like a damaged hardware there. Yeah, look, one of the nubs is not on. Won't really affect performance, but damn, that was annoying. Yeah, it won't really affect performance. I might get a replacement because this is broken. All right, check this out. So I think most monitors have standardized the connection nowadays. So this one in particular is this. But I was just able to swap this connection with that monitor. So Acer and Dell swap places, and the Dell was able to just connect. So I wonder if the M28 can do the same thing. Let's see. All right, moment of truth. I've got the display port set up here. This display port came from the box, so let's plug display port in. So just plug it in like that. And it just latches in. And then power connector looks the same. So let's connect the power port. Fits right in. So yeah, everything's standardized. Power connections to monitors, which is nice because then you don't have to worry about all the other stuff. Wow. And this monitor adjusts height, whereas the Dell does not, and it's only 75 hertz. This 144. So twice the refresh rate, almost twice the refresh rate, and higher resolution and bigger screen size as well. You can't really tell, this is only 1 inch difference, but it's a little bit bigger. Yeah. That is very convenient that power supply is the same cable though. That simplifies my cable management. As far as the GPU is concerned, I'm pretty sure you just plug the display port in. So here's the display port. Let's find the GPU slot. Oh, these have covers on them. There. It's in. Let's see if it'll turn on. Press the button. Oh yeah. Look at that. Yeah, gotta say these RGBs look real nice. I'm gonna add one more fan here and probably move the liquid cooled radiator over here. Okay, well, it looks like it's booting up. See, how do you turn this monitor up. I wonder where the buttons are. There, monitor on. Gigabyte FreeSync. Oh, look at that. Look at that. It's working. So, there you guys have it. It's this is the monitor. Oh, and you can definitely tell the difference. This one is a lot dimmer and that. Maybe it's just dimming settings, but this should be HDR 400. Yeah, I'll get to the test and we'll see what the results are. All right, here we go. Oh, what the hell? So I guess Ubisoft didn't launch correctly. Let's see if it's just something with that launch. Okay, so now it's 4x frame gen. Hopefully you guys can see the performance metrics. Let's see how 4x compares with the rest. It's probably gonna look pretty bad. Ooh, we're getting like 180-ish FPS. I mean, latency is up to like 30-ish. Holy. We're getting like 120 FPS. Definitely quite some artifacting now with this. I have to slow this down. Yeah, the latency, you can definitely feel it. It's a little bit long. There is some artifacting, but it's not extremely noticeable. And I am getting 120 FPS, so it's quite the FPS. Yeah, the latency is like really bad. 37. Oh, look at that artifacting. Yeah, look at that. The snow. I wonder if this artifacts will go away if I do 2x frame gen. Or how about this? Yeah, let's get out of here and try 2x. So now it should be launching as a 2x frame gen. See how it compares. Okay, as every time. Oh, by the way, this is a heavily overclocked 5070 Ti. Normally it should not be running at 3.2. Okay, this is 2x frame gen. So we're back here again. Yeah, the artifacting is definitely present. It's not as noticeable. Oh yeah, it's unfortunate that frame gen has this kind of artifacting. Because I'm pretty sure I'm already at the lowest DLSS. It's getting 70-ish FPS. Yeah, interesting. Actually, now that I turned off dynamic resolution, this is actually a lot better. As long as you don't look at the ground too much, this is actually pretty good. So what if I turn off frame gen? We're probably gonna get 50-ish FPS at that point. Frame gen off. Where did my performance metric go? Alright, so this is DLSS performance by itself. I mean, that's a solid 50-ish FPS, but definitely less smooth. And I wouldn't say this is all that much better than frame gen, actually. Latency is definitely very low. That's one thing for sure. Alright, let's turn frame. Maybe a little bit higher. So you are able to just change your light. Hold up. Let's see. So this is 2x frame change. I'm getting 90-ish FPS. Back to 80-ish FPS. Okay. Let's see, what if we change that to a 4x frame rate? Okay, so you do need to restart the app. This whole time you've been on 2x. Alright, let's restart. Switch to desktop. Let's change that to a 3x. And then let's retry to launch it. It's gonna fail the first time because that's what I found out. So it's probably gonna throw a DX12 error. Oh, guess not. That was this. Let's just do that all HDR. Whatever. So this is 3x, which is a little bit better than 2x. We'll see. 160 in the loading menu. Very impressive frame rates for how much power it's pulling. We're pulling about 100 or 250 watts and 100 or so FPS. And, ooh, yeah, look at that. Impressive, huh? Man, that's just... Aside from the snow bugging out a little bit, this is pretty good. God damn, fake frames are... It's, I guess, the future forward. Because you just can't get raw performance if you want so much. I mean, yeah, looks really good. I think what this gives is a lot of frames, and then, yeah, quite decent. I mean, it's, yeah. That is a lot of blood. Let's pray after killing, or make an offering. Look at that. Really cannot tell all that much. So now the question is, should I record at 120 FPS or 60? That's why I'm able to display that much, but YouTube will never allow me to upload 120 FPS videos, so I always have to kind of downsize it. Yeah, that's something I'll have to figure out. Hey, from a regular standpoint, since this game is mostly for console, it doesn't really matter that much about the latency. I mean, it's 20-ish FPS, and I'm getting 120 from out of nowhere, out of thin air. Overall, I'd say it's worth turning it on, because most of the time you won't ever even notice any artifacting unless you really slow it down. So yeah, so 4K monitor with quite some decent stuff, decent FPS with the frame gen, NVIDIA's solution to no more hardware performance capable is software. Definitely possible to keep squeezing performance out, and I'm only at 3x. I could probably go up to 4x. But I think 3x looks great. Looks great, yeah. All right. Alrighty, I just wanted to add this section of the video explaining how my HDR workflow is since getting this monitor. Because YouTube has pretty strict requirements actually on HDR uploads. So upload HDR dynamic range. And there's this website, if you just search up upload high dynamic range HDR videos to YouTube, you can find this page. But mostly I've found is that MP4 works the best for HDR, and AV1 doesn't really work, but HEVC, H.265 actually does work. And then PQ works, however, YouTube's own transfer functions back to SDR is not the best. So I ended up using HLG, which had the better quality transfer function. So this video was recently uploaded. As you can see, the colors look good enough for SDR videos. So yeah, but it definitely doesn't look as good as the full HDR version, as you can see in the Davinci Resolve editor. And what I've found is that NVIDIA is recording in HDR PQ, which makes sense since oh, some stuff to redeem. Interesting. Looks like there's a new driver. Okay, whatever. Yeah, it's recording in HDR PQ, which is a HDR transfer function that allows for much better color accuracy, brightness accuracy, and all that. However, it's not as widely compatible as the HLG, where you could view a HLG file on a regular SDR display and still get decent results. So I get what they're trying to go for, however, it's just not the best for content creation. I'm installing some stuff right now. But here, let's see. Yeah, so as you can see, the colors look great here. However, there's actually a few things. And I'm just going to say this, I'm using Windows for this. So everything I do is going to apply to Windows. So use 10-bit precision in viewers if available, and use Windows Display Color Management for HDR display. So I just checked both of those. And then in here, under the Settings tab for color management, I want to change that from YRGB to color managed, and then probably use Davinci Resolve Gamut. This way you preserve the entirety of color. So if let's say resolve wide gamut. So this is like a gamut chart, I guess. And Davinci has a range of gamuts that it's able to view. So Davinci Wide is like this black one that encapsulates all the colors beyond the visual colors as well. So this is really good for editing HDR videos because they're always 10-bit and sometimes they will go beyond. Beyond the SDR color gamut. So using wide really gives you the best viewing option. And then just circling back to some of the recordings, let's say for example, this clip, I just dragged it in. I use media info to check the HDR stuff. As you can see, it's recorded under HEVC and its color parameter is BT2020. PQ, transfer characteristics, which means this video is a PQ quality HDR video. Oh yeah, you should also enable HDR Plus here. And the output can be HLG, it could be ST2084, which is the same thing as HDR PQ. And then you should set the mastering forward to 1000 probably, unless you're mastering for some audience using crazy bright displays. But yeah, my workflow is this. I have 3 nodes here. So the first node is just a transfer function. If I go to effects, you can see, come on, why is it looking like that? So the first one is just a transfer function from PQ, Rec 2020 to ST2084, the color space and the gamma, and then the output color space is Rec 2020 and then Rec 2100, or yeah, 2100 HLG. So that's probably the best format for YouTube right now, and it's been years since they introduced HDR, and YouTube hasn't really fixed all the issues wrong with it. So this is what I've found to work pretty well. And HDR videos will take quite a while to process, for example. So yeah, one sec. So yeah, first node transfer color space transform. So that's just this option right here under library, effects, library, color space transform, and then you just change these. The second one is a curve adjustment. Gallery. So power grade, I've saved my power grades testing from all over the place. But it seems like when you do the transform, so if I turn this off, you see it's it shifts the color a bit. I mean, this is what the original looks like. So what I'm really seeing in the upload to YouTube, HLG is really close to what the original looks like. It doesn't look as good as the color graded one I have here looks like, but it's not the worst. Yeah, so when I change the color transform, everything will be messed up. So let's say I delete this node. Oh, actually I can just deactivate it. So those 2 nodes are deactivated now. So as you can see, the colors are there, but the contrast is extreme. And when you export it back here in delivery, look at that. That just doesn't look right. It's too colorful. Whoops, not in Fusion. You can see it's super different than what the original footage looks like. I mean, it looks a little bit better maybe. Look at it right here, the white. It shifts to like reddish. And you can see from the parade here, by the way, I usually change it to HDR, like that. So it gives me the full range. Oh, hold on, did I do that right? Yeah, okay. So yeah, it stretches all the way up to 1000 nits, which is what I'm mastering for. However, it makes the contrast way off. And that's where the curve comes in and fixes that. I mean, it shifts stuff dark, it also shifts it up. But if you compare it to the original, it's just a little bit stretched. So there's more contrast over a much wider range. Yeah, and then from here, I noticed the color has decreased a little bit. It doesn't seem as colorful as I liked it to be. And I just added some saturation using this right here. Click on this, saturation plus 60. And that seemed to fix everything for YouTube. And this is from testing it over and over again, uploading it. I spent 2.5 weeks. I think, actually, no, 3 weeks now, just trying to figure this out. But yeah, I have it down pretty well now, to the point where from each of these, look, the rest of this, there's no signal, so I just drag the curve in. And then the top end as well, there's no signal up here, so I just dragged it in. And then boom, on the next node, you can see the color is much better spread out than before. Let's see if we can finish the Shinbakufu in this session. So definitely trying to make this series of videos have
we're still
made me
just chilling around.
realize the workflow of HDR color grading and just color grading in general. It's pretty fascinating topic. Yeah, hope you enjoyed this video.